Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to day 19 of 21 Days of Presence. How are you doing? We're moving into the depths of this portal, this solstice portal, total solar eclipse, Christmas, New Year's, moving into 2020 energy. And it's getting really strange. So this is something that happens around eclipses, especially exact eclipses or total eclipses. It's a feeling of being outside of time. And in a way, this is helpful for us right now because part of our spiritual awakening, part of what's happening to our planet and where it's moving through the galaxy has to do with awakening us to who we really are and raising the frequency vibration of the earth and our physical bodies and our reality. And so as we move into higher frequency vibrations, we have a different relationship to time. Now, this is one of the first symptoms that you'll notice as you begin to move into a new level of consciousness. And this can be like time slowing down or time speeding up. It can feel like a day can last forever. Now, it's interesting how, we're moving into fourth, fifth dimensional energies. And the Mayans really represented that, or they do, in their calendar system. And the Mayan calendar system is like a concentric circles. And so it's like in every moment, all of eternity can happen. And every day you go through a whole cycle of so part of what's going on right now as we move into the age of Aquarius, it's not just the age of Aquarius, it's a 25,000 year cycle. So the ages of time are 2,000 years. So it's kind of confusing, but basically it's like all of this geometry of these concentric circles, concentric cycles, all lining up at one point, and that's where we are. And so we're just like, we all, that's kind of the energy in general of eclipses. It's like stepping outside of time. But we're really feeling it this year because, wow, we are at such an epic place. And that lining up has been demonstrated to us also in the way that the planets have been moving. And so as we move into this solstice energy that happens on the 21st, the lining up that we're happening is that today we're feeling exact this Mars in sextile with Saturn. And then it moves into a sextile with Pluto tomorrow. So it's like just like Venus was interacting with these planets. Now, Saturn in Capricorn, home in Capricorn, Saturn is often called Father Time. It's kind of like what holds together our reality in the lower dimensions. And it's like a gateway to the higher dimensions. And then Pluto's way out there, right? So Saturn and Pluto conjunction is, it would make sense in, this January conjunction that's happening, that it would be a rearranging of time or our relationship to time or our conceptual energy of time. Now, so in Mars and sextile to these planets, Mars wants to go and move. Mars doesn't care about its conceptual energy of time. It just wants to feel that it's moving. And so it's kind of like, yes, we're in this interesting pause between the past and the future and outside of time, but it's all about moving into something new. But Mars is still in Scorpio, right? And so Mars in Scorpio is about moving the old energies or stuck or hidden energies, so there's actually a lot of support, creative solutions to addressing these hidden things in our subconscious and in our world, kind of bubbling to the surface. And can it be done in a harmonious way, or does it need to be traumatic, right? So we've had such an intense energy of lining up with that Jupiter square Chiron, and we've been feeling this all month. And so just urging us to drop these old stories and clear up those lies that we've been carrying inside of ourselves. And now Mars is saying, yeah, let's move this stuck energy, because Scorpio is a water sign. It's a fixed water sign. And so it's about deep in the depths where things have been stagnant, And so Mars and Scorpio is like, let's use that energy. So this is kind of like an alchemical principle, of using the dross, the heavy, the material, the stuck energies in our body, in our field, and using those energies as power, transforming them into light. That's kind of the principal energy behind alchemy. And that's exactly what we're being asked to do right now. And so it's a dynamic time. It's where you can feel lots of things, and then you can feel totally different a few minutes later. So it's a really great energy to just like not get attached to the outside world, not get attached to the emotions you're feeling. I mean, we want to feel those emotions, right? We want to move them through, but also know that like that doesn't define you. It's not who you really are. It's something you're experiencing. So go ahead and move the energy, but know that you could be feeling very differently in just a little while. And so this is a dynamic energy that's very, very helpful. And then we've got Mercury in square exact tomorrow to Neptune. And Mercury square Neptune, Mercury everyday conceptual reality, how we make sense of things, is in square to the delusions and the belief systems of the past age that are no longer working for us. And it speaks to that energy that we talked about yesterday of this galactic center activation that we're reliving again, and how it's like this huge surge of cosmic energy, which is beautiful. But at the same time, it's breaking that ego container of our conceptual realities, how we've seen ourselves. Because if we're going to all of a sudden shift our identity into our cosmic truth, then the structures we built for ourselves in this 3D reality can't hold us anymore. And the thing is, it's like they're not easy to just redo. They have to kind of break all apart. And that's that ego death, this uncomfortable place that so many people are moving through right now. And Mercury square Neptune is saying these belief systems and our delusions, what we've been told about who we are and what this experience is, our history, what this whole Earth evolution, it's nowhere near true, right? And we got to break. So it's almost like Mercury square Neptune would be like, oh yeah, maybe rearranging your dreams and visions to your recent events with that Mercury retrograde. But in this case, with this galactic center activation going on, it's like complete rewiring, and maybe that fits. I mean, like I said, the stars and planets lining up for us right now and moving into this eclipse energy. It's one thing to have the solstice, a total solar eclipse, just a few days later on Christmas night. And it's like, whoa, step outside of time to see that we are not time, that time's an illusion, and the only time we have is the present moment. And so today the sun is exactly over the galactic center, and we'll be feeling that for the next few days through the solstice. And then Mercury goes over the galactic center. And so so much of what's lining up for us is saying a massive rearrangement of our reality, of how we see ourselves, our identity, is on the table, necessary, for us to move into these new energies. So let's go ahead and step out of time. Do that for ourselves in this moment and feel that presence we've been building between us over this last few weeks as we come to the last few days of our 21 days of presence and prepare for this solstice solar eclipse, powerful alignment. See, the thing about eclipses and the stepping out of time, the reason why that happens is because there's a timeline alignment, and the way I've come to understand timelines is that we would like to be on one ideal timeline, but we have unfinished business from past lives and other energetic frequencies, who knows, that are kind of pulling us in other directions and heading in other directions, right? But the energy of the time that we live in is like a landing of this divine timeline, and these planets going over the galactic center speak to this. And of course, then when you land in your divine time, if a divine timeline's landing, it could be like tumbling down the hill in a complete other direction than you thought you were going. And we need to be flexible. That's Mercury square Pisces. They're both immutable signs and rule mutable signs. And so it's about an adjustment. We've got to adjust our thinking and be flexible and be open and be ready for a complete new direction. Because that's what I've been seeing too, of like tumbling onto this more ideal timeline. Your life could take a trajectory that you can't see, or, you maybe sense this kind of anticipation, but also the anxiety. And that's kind of what I keep seeing, is this change. It's kind of like a quick turn, and we can't see what's around that turn. And our little brain and our human fragility and vulnerability is just all on the table, and that totally fits the Mars in Scorpio. And yet there's creative solutions here to build a new world and surrender to these higher frequency vibrations. And the best way to harmonize this is to come into the now moment and be present in the time that's outside of time that we have available to us inside at all times. So let's go ahead and do that. So just feeling yourself arrive right here, right now. And just taking a few deep breaths. And just saying hello to the earth, the base of your spine, your root chakra, reaching into the earth. And with each exhale, reaching deeper into the earth, feeling this stable and supportive root system, your direct and intimate connection with our Mother Earth, representing the divine feminine cosmic forces. And recognizing that when you're grounded and connected, then your energy can run, then you can fly, then you can sway with the breeze and not get knocked off center. So just feeling yourself connected to the earth and yet moving with the energies. And just enjoying this peace and presence, this field we've been building, this place that we can remember and recognize that's always available to us. And perhaps imagining this sacred space, your igloo, lodge, yurt, temple, cave. And it's a place, just seeing it off in the distance. You know that that peace is inside of you at all times. And you're approaching this sacred space, this place where you have permission to completely be who you really are. Letting your energy just expand and awaken. And you're approaching the sacred space, representing this place on the astral plane we've been building. And recognizing that all of the cares and worries, other people's energies, the problems of the world, we all carry these things, and yet, just for a moment, we're going to give ourselves a little break and just put it all down as you approach this sacred space. Recognize that outside of the space there's confusion, there's isolation, disconnection, lack of clarity, but inside it's warm and comforting. A place where you can remember who you really are in deep, deep presence. And as you approach the door, just go ahead and release all that you carry. Concerns of the past, worries of the future, worries about the state of the world or our planet. That'll all be there when you get back, but for right now, giving yourself this sacred space, this now moment. We've equated security with having everything we need to survive. And yes, that can make you feel secure in the physical. There's a deeper security available, which has become the theme of this 21 days of presence. And just feeling yourself at the precipice of this deeper permission, this deeper remembering and connection to this level of presence. As you drop all of your baggage, just give yourself a few minutes. You can pick it back up later, but just leaving it all at the door, all the roles you've played, all of the identities. It's like ill-fitting clothing that you no longer need. Taking your shoes off, representing all of the identities and roles that you've played. Just leaving that outside the door. As you enter this sacred space of warmth, familiarity, it may have been a long, long time since you've been here, and yet now you remember that this place is here for you. Go ahead and just enter the sacred space, your highest self, welcoming you, recognizing you, smudging you, receiving this cleansing and healing and recognition that you are so much more than all the stories you've lived. Sometimes when we set down all our stories, we feel lost and alone and like we don't even exist. And yet, underneath all of that garb is something more true than anything else you've ever experienced. It's been here from the beginning of time. It's never left. Your true essential self. And go ahead and find your place in this lodge. Sitting down, how nice and warm it is. And you can sit directly on Mother Earth. You can feel your root, connect with Mother. Feel the welcome, the gratitude that you get to share in this experience with her, and she gets to share in this experience with you. Throughout this last few years of intense astrological, energetic upgrades, there's been waves of gratitude coming from higher level consciousness and from Mother Earth. For you souls, you know who you are, having gone through so much to be here right now, living and breathing on planet Earth. Just taking a few deep breaths. With each exhale sinking deeper and deeper into this now moment. Into this true security. Knowing without a doubt that whatever brought you here is taking care of you. Asking you to invite joy back into your life. That perhaps carrying all that responsibility is keeping you from the higher frequencies that you came here for. And Mother Earth says, go ahead and put it into the sacred fire. The burdens, the care, the love for the earth that may keep you feeling bad about the way things are going. Remembering that we're only seeing the very surface of what's really happening. And somehow, a lot of these souls got the idea that it was up to you, all up to you, to solve all these problems. And yet, that doesn't quite make sense. So just go ahead and take this grief off of your heart. And put it into the sacred fire to be transformed back into cosmic love. Seeing it go up the smoke, up through the lodge, out to the cosmos, a blessing of love and hope and trust in the bigger picture of what's happening on this planet in this evolution. The forces that be want to keep us thinking small. And there's something, the most important, most beautiful thing, the secret ingredient, the most simple and yet profound concept. Our spiritual evolution is about moving back into joy. You go ahead and receive an energetic wave to support the release of the grief you carry for the earth. Replace it with true joy. You reinstated as a child of the universe, here to play and expand, create excitement for what's to come. You made it. And here you are. And sensing the other souls that have also made it home. Your soul group, all of you have been through so much. And yet, what if it's all worth it in the end? And sensing these bright light souls as together you breathe with the earth, with the lodge, with each other, with the cosmos. Just gently expanding and contracting, enjoying this deep peace. Deep inside of you, there is a memory and a knowing and a code that's ready to awaken, has been awakening, of the future potential of this evolution. Why you're here. And you know it's possible. And is that what is called for you right now? To be in that joy and excitement. You as a creator of this potential. Everyone around you telling you that, no, this is a place of misery. But you know differently. And you have now come home. And just breathing with the earth, the lodge, your soul group, and the cosmos, right here, right now, at the place of still point, outside of time, outside of duality. Together, we breathe, tapping into the bigger, harmonious rhythms that hold all in place what we're made of. Knowing that the further out you get, the more it all makes sense. can you live from that place of the ideal? Going ahead and staying in this place of unity, of this oneness, consciousness, this bigger truth, and at home in yourself for as long as you would like, bringing it into your daily life. As it becomes easier and easier to find this level of presence throughout your day. And just staying here in this peace, in this lodge, in this place of feeling at home for as long as you would like. Pausing the video if you would like to. And just receiving an energetic wave, a blessing, joy, a remembering, the sparkling stars, the bigger truth, why we're here, what we're doing, and that joy is the answer. Energy creates energy, and everything is energy. And perhaps everything you've gone through as a soul has to do with simply the power you have as a projector. And what do you want to project? Even if it's the tiniest inkling of hope and memory of the original codes, that's enough to no longer allow the energies around you to bring you down to their level. Because you know you're so much more. And this experience is so much greater than everything we've been told. And just feel this joy welling up in your heart, the true spirit of this season, the rebirth of the light workers, arriving fully incarnated on the earth. And what does that look like? What does that feel like? Your friends, your closest brothers and sisters that have gone through such similar experiences, who have been not quite all the way here, maybe just a sliver of their truth, and all of a sudden, the light is coming home. And together, we arrive. Just taking a few deep breaths, enjoying this deep peace and presence, remembering that this lodge is established for us over this portal. We can go here whenever we would like to remember, reset our energy, knowing that the outside world reflection of 3D reality is not at all true for you right now. And you've got to give yourself time here in this truth. Just anchored into the earth and breathing together for as long as you would like. And when you're ready, go ahead and begin to complete your meditation, coming back into your everyday reality, into your room, but bringing this peace with you. And go ahead and when you're ready, completing your meditation, opening your eyes. Well, thank you so much for joining me for day 19, 21 days of presence. Can really feel this energy, and I feel so honored to be working with such a group of amazing, bright souls and waking up together. And it's just this feeling of like, if you're ready and you want to embrace this, what if your whole life starts to make sense? What if your whole earth incarnation starts to make sense? And the definition of these type of souls is that you've had a ton of experience before you ever came here to this earth evolution. And so maybe it's starting to make sense, everything you've been through. And a rebirth and a redefinition and a landing home inside of yourself. And that happens to be on the earth too, since this is where you reside right now. This is the level of consciousness we have accessible to us. And this is where we need to work from, the car that we have to drive. And so what a beautiful experience to be here and remember that bigger self and that bigger truth together. So I look forward to seeing you hopefully at the Solstice Soul Group Session or the Eclipse Soul Group Session, or both. Know that if you sign up for the Solstice Soul Group Session, there's a coupon code in the chat, which is where we can chat on the side of the page where the event page is. And there you can find a coupon for 50% off of the Eclipse Soul Group Session, because it'd be so great to have a continuum as we hold pillars of light for this process, whatever it is we're going through here on the planet. But we know we're here being present for it. So thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to connecting with you over this next week of powerful energies, preparing us for 2020. So until next time, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.